the lessons that we've seen come through again is, it started off with maybe not communicating variations more, effectively in our earlier days in the business. Andy would maybe rush on the job just to get it finished, to try and get, you've got a specific schedule, and just maybe the variations at times had been left to probably the last. And that didn't prove for a good client experience, because the job's almost finished, and then suddenly, oh, here's an extra few $1,000 because we've done X, Y, and Z. So that was one lesson now, that we have a really good variation process, that now when a variation arises, and they'll speak to the clients, they'll agree on what that is, and then it gets sorted then and there. So it's not followed through to the end of that project. So it allows for that better client experience.
Thinking about building or renovating? Or maybe you are already knee-deep in a project now. Are you feeling unsure of which steps to take, and if you are making the right calls? You're not alone. Welcome to Builders Beyond Borders, the podcast where experienced Aussie builders share real stories, insider tips, and practical advice so you can build with confidence, avoid costly mistakes, and actually enjoy the journey. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Builders Beyond Borders podcast again for another session. My name's Paul from Independent Building Solutions in Canberra. With me today, I've got Hugh from New Realm Homes down in Melbourne and Louise from Perway Constructions over in Perth in the west there.
Hey all.
Today, we're going to have a bit of a chat about lessons learnt with building, and that's obviously something we could talk a lot about. I've been in the industry pretty well 40 odd years now, so there's been a lot of lessons along the way and constant learnings. I think there's still constant learnings. We get things change, times change. The methods of construction have changed an awful lot since I was an apprentice to what they have now. So there's all sorts of different areas of discussion in terms of lessons learned. So I'll cross over to one of you guys. Do you want to give us a few examples, Hugh? I'll go to you first on a few lessons you've learned along the way and a bit of your history.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Paul. And thanks for having us on again. This is always a fun little thing to sort of get into, so I'm enjoying this. But I've been in the game for sort of 25 years at the moment, from starting from a young guy at 16 years old, sort of smashing out frames and old OB hardwood frames. So I guess you could say lessons learned. I mean, lots of squished fingers and black fingernails and that sort of thing. So cut the mustard real quite early and young. But yeah, when it comes to the I guess you could say the trials, as you sort of getting through the industry, there is so much that you sort of do experience, and the more you sort of put yourself into it at a young age, the more you can sort of get out of it. But yeah, I guess it's just one of those fun little things that we sort of all sort of semi do experience, is the challenges from dealing with other people in the industry. And what I mean by that is other trades that might not fit in with scheduling. It might be trades that jump up and down because something's not done for them. And I don't know, it's just one of those fun little lessons that we sort of all have experienced, is just that dealing with other people that might not be on the same page as you, even to the point, when I say not the same page, it might be that they have a different set of plans on a project, and it throws everything into turmoil. So yeah, I mean, I think we've all experienced it. But as I've sort of gotten on in my years, and that makes me sound really old, but don't want to be sounding like I'm really old. It's a few grey hairs, but that's okay. As you sort of get on, the experiences and the lessons start changing from those ones when you're first sort of there doing all the grunt work down in the trenches, doing everything there, to then you're going through the business and you're getting all the business learnings. And the business learnings are they're probably the ones that you really need to get early in your career. And just because, yeah, the business challenges when you're dealing with clients and dealing with everybody that you do, you sort of turn into a little bit of a psychologist sometimes, and managing everybody else around you can be quite challenging, and you've got to do a lot of learning within yourself to be able to sort of get the best out of each project. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to it, the business lessons for me have been immense, sort of getting into even at the 10-year mark. The business learnings then, mind-boggling. But just sort of getting down the line now, it's predominantly because we are focused on our clients' experience. That is the number one thing, and the lessons that we've gotten from that have revolutionised the business. And so, yeah, lessons when it comes to that are just immense.
Yeah, some good points there, mate. I think, yeah, the old green hardwood, I remember that well, black hands full of splinters. Yeah, and broke from trying to carry this stuff. I mean, there's one thing that's improved out of sight, I guess, in
Mm.
terms of having things nice and neat and straight these days, and houses not moving as much as they used to with the kiln dried and nicer things we've got to work with. So there's been some big improvements along the way there.
Well,
Yeah, different plans or everyone having a different plan, that's a bit of a trap, isn't it? Sometimes when an amendment's done, you've got to make sure you throw the old ones out straight away before they get into the wrong hands, or that can cause big dramas, can't it?
you can imagine the fun that comes when the wrong set of plans is on site and somebody's built something that's not meant to be there, and the kerfuffle that comes from that. And I've seen a couple of instances where that, and this was back when I was just on the tools, and not being part of it and being able to sort of sit back and just sort of watch and just go, I wonder what's going to happen here. that was always an interesting experience, that's for sure.
But that sinking feeling you get when the client calls and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I know exactly what's happened. Yeah, something hasn't been done right because they've got the wrong plan, and you know
Mm.
straight away what it is, but it's already too late. You've got to go back and fix it, redo it. And so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it.
And but what about you, Louise? Then obviously a bit of a different background, not doing a trade like us, not coming up as a carpenter through the ranks like we did on the tools, but you still got those, like another thing Hugh mentioned about keeping people, trying to work with people. Obviously having a lot of trades, there's a lot of trades come through on a building site, and trying to get them to work together has always been a constant battle too. You get a bit annoyed sometimes when you get one trade comes in, just wants to do what he wants to do and doesn't care about the next guy. That's something
Yeah.
that's always been an issue with me. I've always been trying to get everyone to sort of think about the next guy and try and make it easier for the next guy instead of just rushing in and doing what you need to do and moving on. And that's what you get, particularly with subcontractors, don't you?
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, I think for us, that what's good is, but every project is different, and every project there can always be lessons learned. And what we do, is when things finish, and we can always reflect back and go, okay, what's the lessons learned from this project? What can we do to improve for the next project? And lots of those lessons can come down to communication, not just with clients, with the other trades on site, like that communications. If the plans example, like I think that's the beauty of what we do, even within our coaching group, is that we understand and use and reflect and take those lessons to improve our processes for the next job, so that it's not a recurring lesson, because then that'll become a mistake. So I think that it is important to look back and see what things had been lessons, what can you do to improve those systems and processes for the next one. And for us it's been again, we're coming in 6 years now into business, but a lot of the lessons that we've seen come through again is, it started off with maybe not communicating variations more, effectively in our earlier days in the business, that, we would just, Andy would maybe rush on the job just to get it finished, to try and get, you've got a specific schedule, and just, maybe the variations at times had been left to probably the last. And that didn't prove for a good client experience, because the job's almost finished, and then suddenly, oh, here's an extra, few $1,000 because we've done X, Y, and Z. So, that was one lesson now, that we have a really good variation process, that now when a variation arises, Andy will speak to the clients, they'll agree on what that is, and then it gets sorted then and there. So it's not followed through to the end of that project. So it allows for that better client experience. Other lessons have been communication with the subcontractors, and making assumptions. So it's like, never make assumptions. Make sure that everybody's always on the same page, and improving then our processes with that, in terms of, like, making sure there's quality checks done with the subcontractors, ensuring that they're communicated with, they know what's happening, they're in advance told of the schedule, or if their schedule changes. Again, it allows for a better experience with subcontractors. So it's just a few small ones that that I can think of at the minute. But yeah, what about you, Paul? Have you in terms of client experience and things like that, what lessons have you come up with, against, and how have you improved them?
Yeah, well, communication's a big thing, isn't it? And you learn to communicate better as you go along, because I guess you learn from your mistakes like anything, don't you? But the variations is a very good one, because it's like we were talking about with materials and things, how much they've improved. But the software that we've got now has improved out of sight in that regard too, with the fact that you don't have to worry about till you get to the end of the job, and then you're taking notes or you're writing things down here and there, and then you've got to add it all up at the end. And the people might know that the variations are all there, but they sort of lose track of what they're adding up to, and then they have a heart
Mhm.
attack when they get their final bill. So at least with the software now, you can put a variation through straight away, and it sends it out to them, and it not only gives them the cost of that variation, but it just adjusts the bottom line so they know where their contract price is constantly.
Mhm.
They've got to have a look at that bottom line. So there's been huge improvements in a lot of areas in regard to that side of things as well. The software stuff's fantastic now. It saves
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. Yeah, agree. And it's a better experience for builder and team and client. So yeah, it's the advancements of technology have also helped with experiences and those lessons learned and improving them.
And it's helped us with the time we have to spend in the office doing paperwork. You're not up all night trying to keep on top of it all, because it's a lot quicker and a lot simpler systems that sort of manages a lot of that stuff for us. So we've just got to obviously put the time in to learn how to run these programs initially, and then it gets better as you go along, and we get better with it as we go along too. It's constant learning as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Hugh? Have you had some experiences with variations that you want to let us know about?
Variations are, I think they're the bane of everyone's existence. But one of the lessons when it comes to variations has been that one of not waiting till the very last bill to surprise a client with with the variation, because here's a client that's gone through an entire project, and then they get to the very end, and then they're lumped with another God knows how much, when it comes to a variation at the end, on things that really, going by what is considered to be standard industry practice, is that variations would be charged throughout the project, and not at the last thing. And I think that that's where a lot of people have actually fallen over the last probably 30 years, has been applying those variations on the last bill. And that's where all the legal battles and people getting upset about a bill at the end of the job is going to come from that real poor management of variation throughout a project. And I think we've all seen it. We've all heard stories of that sort of thing going on. But not to put a downer on anything, but the 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 software and that sort of thing, and the lessons that we've all gotten have made it so that we address it early, instead of letting it go right through to the keeper and getting to the last moment before, surprise, hey, guess what? You owe us another 30 grand.
Mhm.
Oh, well, we haven't accounted for that. So how are we actually meant to manage that? And the client might be out of money. What are they meant to do?
Mhm. One other thing that we've learned in that lesson as well for variations is that, really helping the client to be sure of their selections and things like that before, starting even the job, before before even signing the contract, making sure that a lot of things are chosen, because again, that's where things blow out when, changes are made mid job, and that's, the variations can creep up. We find that a lot of the times when we've worked with interior designers, the selections have been all decided upon. There's less room, there's less, yeah, room for maybe change. And then that's limited the amount of variations as well. So again, it's just those lessons in our understandings of, maybe this worked for this client. Let's educate the next client about this. This is a better process. You're going to get a better experience if you do it
Uh,
this way, rather than just, willy nilly choosing as you go. You might have a provisional sum in place for that specific portion of your job, but that can blow out. And at the end of that, is that going to lead to a better experience for you, rather than if you took the time, planned it a bit better at the forefront, and then that's, going to lead to a better experience. You're not going to have a budget blowout and things like that. So it's just like different things that worked for different projects, and it's just trying to educate the clients on that, until, so that they can learn from other clients' experiences and our experiences.
Yeah. Well, it's come a long way though too, because back in the older days when you're on the tools, you're out on site, you're trying to get the job done. People change things on the fly. It's like, it's going to cost this amount, but then by the time you get back to the office, you forget about it, so it doesn't get done until towards the end of the job. And then it's, oh, I forgot to invoice for that. I forgot to invoice for this, and the clients sometimes will be asking you, "Can you give me an update of my costs of my variation, so I know where I'm at." "Oh yeah, I'll get to that when I get to the office." And of course, you're out on site all day, and then you had it. And by the time you get home, it's late. It doesn't get done. So yeah, there's always been that, but the software and things we've got now sort of eliminated that. So it's a lot better for client experiences, especially, and the communication side of things as well.
That's it.
But yeah, it looks like we're sort of a bit pushed for time today, guys. So we might have to call it a day there. Thanks for joining in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to Builders Beyond Borders. If today's episode helped you feel more prepared, clearer, or more confident, share it with a mate who's planning their own build or reno. Got a question about building, renovating, or working with tradies? Send it our way. We might cover it in a future episode. And don't forget to hit follow or subscribe so you never miss the real stories, practical tips, and builder insights we've got coming your way. Everything shared on this podcast is based on our experiences and those of our guests. It's general info only. Any reliance on the information provided is done at your own risk.